Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. On today's show, 5 Prince Amukamara potential replacements. As most of you should know, if not all of you, Prince Amukamara was released over the weekend by the Chicago Bears, as was Taylor Gabriel, creating some extra cap space. Cutting Amukamara saved $9 million. Now the Bears all of a sudden up to about $26.5 million in cap space, trying to free up some room to be players in free agency. But when you cut players, typically that means it creates a need, which means, of course, the Bears need a cornerback. We talked about this before. If you're going to release Amukamara, you got to have a plan to replace him either in free agency or in the draft. Today, I will focus on 5 potential free agent options for the Bears. Obviously, Prince was a good player for Chicago. You could start to see the decline last season. Didn't have an interception for Chicago. Did have 10 pass breakups. Still a really solid player. I think he's a really good number 2 corner. Problem is you don't pay number 2 corners $10 million in the NFL. He's 31 years old, aging as a player. Made too much sense for Chicago to cut him and save the $9 million. But again, you need someone opposite of Kyle Fuller. You got Buster Skrine in the nickel. You're not going to slide him over. Kevin Tolliver, I don't think he's the answer. You want Roberson starting, the CFL kid that they just brought in about a month ago? I don't think he's ready to make that step. Duke Shelley, no thanks. He's a backup nickel back. So we'll see what happens. I got 5 targets we're going to look at. But first, was cutting Prince Amukamara the right choice? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Again, unless he was willing to restructure, I think you had to cut ties and save the $9 million. But if you disagree, go ahead and cast your votes down below. All right, let's get into it. Kendall Fuller, why not? Let's team up the Fuller bros in Chicago. Of course, Kansas City's going to try and keep Kendall Fuller, but they've got several free agents. Of course, Chris Jones, their big targets that they're trying to keep. They're kind of like the Bears. They don't have a ton of cap flexibility. They got to think about extending Patrick Mahomes. So Kendall Fuller is going to hit the market and become available. Now, I'll say this when it comes to Fuller and the Bears. He's really more of a nickelback, played some safety this year as well. Outside corner, he's played some there and he's done okay, but he's not a guy that you want playing primarily on the outside. That's why I've got him at number 5. Good, versatile player. I like the idea of teaming him up with Kyle Fuller, but you feel okay at nickel with Buster Skrine, and you're not bringing in Fuller to be your number 2 outside corner. I don't think that's maximizing his strengths. Could he do it? Yes. Is that what you're paying him for? I don't really think so. So I won't rule it out, but I think it's more of a long shot when it comes to Kendall Fuller and the Chicago Bears. You look at the numbers there, didn't have the pass breakups this past season, but 2017, 2018 played really well in that regard. And this year in the playoffs, while he was up and down during the regular season, he was great in the postseason. Had the game-sealing pick in the Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers. Really played better down the stretch after suffering that hand injury that caused him to miss 5 games in the middle of the 2019 season. So I've got Kendall Fuller as my number 5 target for the Bears to replace Prince Amukamara. So what do you guys think? What do you think the Bears should do at cornerback? Should they draft one? Should they sign one in free agency? Type D for draft, type S for sign. Obviously, in today's video, I'm focusing on free agent targets to replace Prince Amukamara. But if you think they should draft one, go ahead and type D for draft down in the comment section down below. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's number 1 sportsbook. Go to this link, chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code NFL120. You can bet on the XFL. You can bet on the NBA. You can bet on win totals for the 2020 NFL season. Bears are slated to go 8-8 again. I'm taking the over on that one. I already put my money down at BetDSI. That 120% deposit bonus, you're only going to get it if you use our promo code NFL120. Next player here, I got Eli Apple as we go through Prince Amukamara potential replacements. Played a lot better after he got traded to the Saints from the Giants back in 2018. Now, certainly he's been up and down. He has not produced like a top 10 pick is expected to, but I think he's kind of carved himself into a solid number 2 outside corner. Again, he is not a number 1 corner. If that's what you're expecting, if you bring in Eli Apple to be your to be a lockdown corner opposite of Kyle Fuller, that is not what you're going to get. But the talent is there. He makes some plays. I think he's a good, solid number 2 option, and I don't think he will cost too much in free agency. I think he's in that $5 to $7 million per year range, which is a decent number for a number 2 corner nowadays. Again, didn't have an interception last year, but the 4 pass breakups, made some plays on the football. I like how he played in New Orleans after he got out of New York. I thought he played a little bit better. Again, he's not that top 10 pick we were all expecting from a few years ago, but you could do a whole lot worse than Eli Apple. All right, Bears fans, we got over 3,000 subs over the past couple of days or so. Let's keep it going. Let's get to 5,000 subs by the end of March. It's going to be a busy month. Free agency, draft rumors will continue to heat up as we gear closer and closer to April's NFL draft. But with free agency starting in middle of March, you're going to want to be subscribed to youtube.com/Bears now. We'll keep you updated all off season long. Let's get to 5,000 subs by the end of March. Third player here, I got Aqib Talib. Now, he got traded to Miami last year after playing 5 games with the Rams. Did not play a game with Miami. Dealt with some injuries. The Dolphins were obviously tanking for the most part as well until Ryan Fitzpatrick decided to win a couple of games down the stretch. But I think on a 1-year type of deal, Aqib Talib makes a lot of sense for the Chicago Bears, or any team really, who's trying to contend in 2020. He's clearly past his prime, but he wants to keep playing. He's still a good player. I think you put him opposite of Kyle Fuller. He's a solid number 2 corner in this Bears system. He's a cheaper version of Prince Amukamara in a lot of ways. You can get him, play a similar role, and he's going to cost a whole lot less, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to get $10 million on the open market. I think he'll be more in that $6 or $7 million range. Now, who do you think is a better corner at this point? Talib's 34, Amukamara's 31. Type A for Amukamara, type T for Talib. I think you could go either way here. I think there's a little bit of question mark around Talib with the injuries last year. He's starting to regress a little bit as a player, but he's still a good corner in this league. Obviously has a lot to prove in 2020. That's why I like the 1-year deal idea. Type A for Amukamara, type T for Talib. Go ahead and let me know in the comments section. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to ask me about these 3 players in particular, and maybe some others. Byron Jones, here's the deal. He's going to cost too much. He's at least $14 million on the open market, probably 15 or 16. If you just cut Amukamara to save 9, you're not going to sign Byron Jones for 16. It's not going to happen. Chris Harris, maybe that could happen, but he's still probably going to get 11 or 12 million on the open market. I don't see Chicago going that route, and I don't want anything to do with Josh Norman. Give me anybody else. I'm done with Norman. He's done as a player. He was one of the worst corners in the NFL last season. You guys are going to ask, I'm sure. I don't want any business with Josh Norman. What I do want business with, and what you should want business with, is Chicago Bears hoodies on sale. I checked the temperature today in Chicago. It was cold as hell, and here in Dallas, it's still been pretty chilly this winter also, so I'm going to order one of these Bears hoodies. Chatsports.com/Bears hoodies. Take a look at this this Khalil Mack one. You get the 52 with the name on the back. That one is sweet. A lot of these are flying off the shelves, so check the link in the comments, check the description, chatsports.com/Bears hoodies. Take advantage of these deals with our partner Fanatics today. Let's get into our top 2 Amukamara replacements. We got Bashaud Breeland, another Chiefs corner on here. Look, he was up and down last year. Let's be honest. He was not great, but he played really well down the stretch, and he was awesome in the playoffs. He was really, really good. Had a key interception in the Super Bowl against the 49ers. I think he might be the best value corner on the market because he's not going to cost a lot. There's bigger names out there. So this is simple economics. Bigger names get bigger money, and then Bashaud Breeland, the market isn't what you thought it would be. You sign him for $5 million. Like that's how it works. That's probably how it's going to work for Breeland, and that's really good value for a player who had a couple of picks, a couple of fumble recoveries this past year. He's a good tackler, 8 pass breakups, had an interception in the playoffs as well. I like Bashaud Breeland a lot, and I think the value you can get for him is really, really good. I think he's pretty close to Amukamara at this point, and he might cost half the money. Now pick a cornerback. We've talked about 2 Chiefs corners, Breeland or Fuller, type B for Breeland, type F for Fuller. Let me know which corner you would rather the Bears sign in free agency. Then we get to our top guy here, Trae Waynes, the Vikings free agent corner. Minnesota's got a bunch of decisions to make on that defense because a lot of their players are hitting the open market. Xavier Rhodes, they got to decide if they're going to release him. He was really bad last year. Waynes did not have his best season by any means last year, but he's still pretty good overall. But with him having a down year, it could lower his price. You cut Amukamara to save $9 million, you might be able to get Waynes for about 8, which I think you're kind of upgrading at that position, and you're getting a younger player. Only 27 years old. He still has room to grow. He can improve. He's still a young player in this league, and he's a playmaker. 7 picks over the last 4 seasons, which is what I like a lot. I need players to intercept passes. Byron Jones, which a lot of you guys are going to ask me about, he doesn't pick passes off. Trae Waynes does. He had just 1 last year, but 7 over the last 4 seasons. He's my number 1 guy to replace Prince Amukamara, and if you plug him into this secondary, I think you're feeling pretty good because you got Fuller on one side, Waynes on the other, Skrine in the nickel. We'll see what happens at strong safety, but you just extended Eddie Jackson, who I like a lot. And then guys like Roberson, Tolliver, they can go into that backup role, those rotation special teams type of roles. And if players get hurt, you feel okay about them. Kevin Tolliver cannot be a starting cornerback week 1 next year. There's no way the Bears are going to go in that direction. I think these 5 guys are good options for Chicago. Now, which free agent corner do you want the Bears to sign this offseason? Let me know. Type your answers down in the comments. Again, these are my 5 replacements for Prince Amukamara. I got Kendall Fuller, Eli Apple, Aqib Talib, Bashaud Breeland, and Trae Waynes. I think one of these guys could be a good replacement for Prince, and I think in the end it's going to cost less money as well.